First of all, let me tell you what this session is all about and why it's important. See, first of all, whatever, um whatever like company you joined from to my training program, or directly or by any company, please note that the agreement or the plan was to teach you admin and the development that we have done or that we completed now, and your company's agreement or everything is complete now. There is nothing pending official, but please note, if you remember, I told you at the beginning that apart from the syllabus, my tendency will be always to give you something more for free without taking any money for that, so that I can help you to build your initial stages of your career, and anything which I need is useful. But even your company is not paying me for that, or you're not paying me for that, it's okay. I'm always going to do this for my all batches to give something more as compared to the fees you guys are paying, and that will be called as the bonus sessions. And this will be those topics which are actually something very important for your interviews and for your initial journey. So let's start those journey topics, and let me tell you what all the things I'm going to give you as a bonus session for you. One of the very important topic which is right now is a hot cake in the market, that is lightning. So almost all the companies are asking this skill set, and in the absence of this, you will find hardly 10-15 companies will accept your resume, or simply they will cancel your resume. They will just not proceed at all. Forget about interviews. I'm talking about even proceeding the resume. They will not even call you if this knowledge is not with you. Second, so about this, I'm going to give you some kind of information. Second, some companies prefer the knowledge of integration. You should have some kind of understanding on that. So this was initially before few years. If you speak about 1 year situation, or before 1 year in year scenario, many people used to consider integration as a special and add-on topic, and they used to consider it as an important thing. But now the things are changed. Now the current market is focusing on this, and you have some bit of less knowledge in integration, they won't mind, but they want the lightning should be there. But we are going to take this also. Okay, this also we are going to take. Next, another important thing which people uh, cannot learn in the market, because the trainers mostly don't teach them, because the trainers need to pay money to Salesforce and it's very costly. That is the arranging the real-time environments. So they again skip the topic called as deployment. Now, which is something very important if you are going to have a small team and a small company. Then if you say I don't know this, again they will not hire you or select you. So these will be the things we are going to see as a major factor in this in our journey. And apart from that, I'm going to give you some lots of learning contents as well. So here what we are going to do, also I'm going to teach you something about process builder, and which will give you some kind of idea about how automation is done, and etc. And apart from that, the next in the next session, I already told you, in the next weekend we are going to talk about the resume preparation, and how to face interview even though you are having no much real-time knowledge, and yet get the results. So now here, please note that this will be so here this will be the agenda. Now here we will plan something with the videos, something will plan with the live things, because here I want to give you as much as various points are possible. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, now please note here, we have limited time, and I am planning to give you maximum as much as possible information. Here also I will tell you something about uh, wave. So you can see I'm just trying to put as much as possible various things for your understanding, so that you guys will be having some kind of good strong platform ready. Okay, and now please note, in these things, uh, I'm planning to do one thing. So this I will be sending you by video. Okay, because it will take lots of time and we have limited time, so I'll send you video for this. This I will tell you today in this session. This we will see next weekend, and this also next weekend they are going to see. Apart from that, please note these are the essential topics. Okay, so lightning is not that much only which we are going to see. There is huge world of lightning, and it's a kind of different syllabus, by the way. It's a syllabus of approximately, I would say, let's say 150 or 200 points, and this is something which is definitely a different point in this perspective. So we are going to focus on the essential things, and it's not the complete syllabus, by the way, just to give you the idea. So you can see, for example, this is the lightning syllabus which I take, but from that I'm going to take some important points for you. So this syllabus contains, if you see, if you just count the topics, then you will realize it's almost 150 plus topics, one of the biggest syllabus in the industry. But from that, all those essential topics are there, or all those important topics are there. Those I'm going to take as an essential. Similarly for integration also, it's a separate syllabus, but from those, what essential things you need which can help you in the interview, and very regular questions which they are going to ask, those also I'm going to teach. So those are the essential topics. Process builder we are going to learn end to end in detail, not a problem. And apart from that, what I told, uh, analytics is also a separate syllabus, so I'm going to give you some essential topics from that, because in some interviews they ask the knowledge of web analytics, so that will be the essential thing. And deployment we are going to see in detail. That is also one end-to-end learning. So these are two end-to-end things we are going to see. Okay, so this is the plan. Now these are the headings, or these are the major points, but in that we are going to see lots of subtopics or key topics. For example, here you need to understand the meaning of LEX, which is called as lightning experience. You need to understand LEX versus classic. You need to understand lightning migration. You need to understand working, or let's say working with pilot teams for migration, that is moving to lightning. Okay, and etc. Then here you need to know something about change sets, deployment strategies. In that we also know inbound change set, outbound change set, sandbox creation, sandbox refresh, and connection setting. Okay, so these things we are going to see, and the deployment. Oh wait, I think I wrote this point here. This is deployment points. Okay, and next in the integration, you should know that why we need integration. Second, types of integration, that is so, that is REST. How integration is done by using web service, and what is the meaning of API or callouts scenarios. in integration. Next, in the process builder, you'll be in, it's just a single topic. So there is no subtopic actually in this. So in short, we are going to see a project builder, a process builder scenario, and that's it. Then here also I will discuss about this in the next week about this wave analytics. Fine. So now I will do one thing to ensure that we can take the maximum benefit of this uh, time, whatever we have. So first of all, I will be sending you this Lightning Essentials in the form of video. Okay, so that you will get in the video format. And now let me start with this deployment. And Process Builder, I will send you video. Just let me see first of all which video I have. So just give 1 second. Because if we teach all the things, then I have to reduce the content, because you know very well that if you want to teach everything, then every topic will take minimum 1 hour. So I have to take then only 1 or 2 topics from this, and that I don't want to do, because I want you guys to learn as much as possible from this. So that is the reason I will be taking maximum content. And anyways, you know very well what is the quality of the videos of the session. You just even watch the video, you easily understand every concept clearly. So that is the only reason I'm planning to send something video, so that I can take maximum topics, and I don't need to reduce the topics or go only with some kind of 1 or 2 topics and close the journey. So and even in future I will just plan to do some kind of thing like that only. In future I'm just trying to send some more videos as I get time to give you some kind of more and more knowledge, but that depends. I'm not sure on that. It depends actually if my schedule is going to permit me. Let me see the videos. What is available video with me? So, without Lightning experience, you cannot get job. Actually, I would say that 80% companies are looking for that. So you have Lightning experience, you don't have Lightning experience, you still have the chance to get a job in 20% companies. Okay, so it's not like that. There are so many companies who use Classic. In these companies, you can definitely get job. So not a problem. So I have videos for okay, I'll do one thing. Yeah, and one more topic actually, which is there, which I'm going to cover. Mm, That is Salesforce mobile. This also I would like to give you, which will give some kind of good knowledge to you, how we can work from Salesforce on mobile, some kind of overview about this. So I will do one thing. This I have video. So this I will send you video, and this I have video. So both I will be sending in video. This video, and this also I have video. Okay, so I will take this one live, and this will take live. That is today. And let's first of all do one thing. Now this I'll send video, this I'll send video. Fine, let's proceed. So first of all, work on this. So after this class, I'm going to send you videos for this. Okay, and after this class, I'm going to send videos for this also. Now please note, yesterday's session was not recorded. If you, all those people who attended yesterday's session, please note, you might be having the idea of that, so that also I will be sending you. So let's talk with the process builder. Okay, so first of all, process builder is nothing but the replacement of workflow rule. So very soon you are going to see that workflow rule may not be there in the market, because Salesforce is investing lots of time and bringing lots of new things in this process. And please note that soon you may see that almost all the workflow rules in the market will be replaced by process builder. Now in this case, if you are not having good knowledge of process builder, then it will be difficult for you to handle those complex situations in the real-time project. And as process builder is getting lots of popularity in the market, I included this topic as a bonus topic, as a bonus session. Okay, fine. So now what I'm going to do is, let me log into Salesforce environment and let me show you something about this. So I'm logging to Salesforce environment. Process Builder is available in the free edition also. But the deployment things are only available in paid edition. Okay. So deployment things are only available in paid edition. I hope you got the answer. But rest of all the things which we are going to see will be available in the free edition also, except the deployment topic. Okay, again some network fluctuation. Yeah, there was some network issue, so let me just see, it's making some problem actually. Fine, so let's continue. Okay, so now let me go to the Salesforce environment and go to the setup. And actually, or let me do one thing. As you guys are comfortable with Lightning, or you guys are from Lightning, sorry, from Classic, let me go to the Classic. Okay, so now go to the object which we are going to use here. Okay, and the scenario we are going to discuss. So let me add two objects at the top at the beginning, and these two objects will be teacher and student. I want to show you one real-time process builder scenario that I have done, almost similar case I have done in the past for one of my customers. So let me go to that, facing some technical issue. Yeah, actually some network issue is going on. So as I said, like it's making some problem. Not sure, just not sure why it's happening today only. Let me just check. Fine. So I'm going to arrange two objects for this. One is teacher and one is student. So T for teacher here and S for student here, and just make it at the top. Okay. Now see, this is the business scenario we are going to focus on, a teacher and student. This is something I'm going to take from the previous project implementation for a university. Now please note here what was the requirement. They actually wanted to perform various activity on the DML. DML means that you know very well, some kind of record entry and all. So whenever any kind of such activity used to happen on the student object, based on that they wanted to perform some kind of activity and take some actions. This functionality which actually we did, taking the benefit of process builder, same case I'm going to explain here in this journey. Okay, so let me now do one thing. Let me show you what we have done in that case. So let me first of all show you the page and explain you how actually we did this. So just 1 minute, let me show that one. Okay, so see, suppose we are going to create a student record and there is one field called as marks. Let me bring that also. So let me bring that field and make it available, because all depends on the marks of the students. So that was the scenario we created for that Canada based client. Mm, let me just make that field available on the student page. And also please remind me in the next session to send you that some documents actually which I'm going to send you for your future journey, because this will be something helping you a lot to make yourself ready for hands-on, more and more practice, and make you capable enough to handle the real-time project. So just remind me that also I'm going to send you. Okay? Fine. So see here, that scenario was whenever a student is going to have any kind of results and score, we need to enter the results in the marks percentage. Based on that, we have to take three decisions. If the student is going to actually get some kind of marks which is in the distinction format, that is anything more than 70 or 75%, it's called as distinction score. Then we wanted to post the, in fact the customer said that post this success message in the chatter, a group of teachers which they used to work on a collaborative manner in Salesforce. So if mark is 75 or 75 plus, then post in the chatter so that everyone can see and the teacher also can get motivation. If the performance is between 40 to 75, that is 40, 41 up to 74, then it's an average performance. Then in this case, do one thing, male, or let's say in this case like male teacher, male teacher, and tell teacher to perform the, or to inform improve the performance and work on the students, as the student got average performance, which is not good for the uh, like popularity of this college or university. And the final was anything below 40, any marks below 40, then there should be one um SMS to be sent to the parents, and they should be called to visit the college or university to discuss about this issue, what actually went wrong, and it's a big issue that someone got failed in that particular education institute. Okay, now if I ask you the question that how you will perform this activity in workflow rule, then first of all you will say that in the workflow rule we don't have anything called as chatter, or let's say any kind of such SMS or etc etc. So please note here, we need to understand one important thing, that this actually this actually a limitation of workflow rule. Apart from that, if I say you that forget about the output, let's say I'm saying you only send email, that's it, only send email, which is possible in workflow rule, then you will say, okay, Shekhar, it's possible, but I need to create three workflow rules. One workflow rule for this, then one for this, and one for this. But please note here, all such things are possible in process builder and also with only one process builder or process. So this is one very major advantage of process builder as compared to workflow rules. Okay, so let's proceed ahead and try to understand that key difference between workflow rule and process builder. Almost all the interviews nowadays they are asking that what is the difference between process builder versus workflow rule. Almost all interviews. So pay attention. So first of all, process builder has 9 actions. Whereas here we have 4 actions that you already learned in the admin syllabus. Process builder can create and update record. You can do this. Here can only update. We cannot do anything else. In process builder, we can call Apex class. Here cannot. Apart from that, for many conditions, we we can get, or let's say we can, or let's say only one process enough. Okay, but here is for every condition that we have, we need separate workflow rule that we also know, because we already saw these kind of things in the admin syllabus. So you have to write one condition where mark is less than 40, another condition there is another workflow marks more than 75, and another condition for average performance. So this way you have to write so many workflow rules, but in the real-time project, just one process builder. In one of my previous project, when customer wanted to use process builder and we started working on conversion of all workflow rules into process builder, then one thing I would like to share with you, that in that object, in one object we use approximately 21 workflow rules and we converted them into the process. Then please note, just one process we used and we got everything ready. This much powerful process builder is. Just one process we used and that's it. So you don't need to worry about using lots of processes and all this. You want to use multiple, you can use, no problem. But it's having very good capacity that it's going to give you almost all the results in single process. How? Anyways, we are going to see that. Okay. So the requirement is all to be done depending on this marks. So let's proceed and build a process. How to do this? Go to setup. It's just below workflow rule. So go to build, go to create, and then workflow approvals, and below that you have this process builder. Okay, below workflow rule approvals you have process builder. So click on that. So let the page get loaded. So it's loading. And here we go. Okay. So this is the page of processes what you are having in your environment. So if you want to create a process, just click on the new button and proceed ahead. Give any process name. Let's say for example the university management process. description, your wish. Now there are two things which you need to decide while calling the process. So when the record is getting changed, then you want to call the process, or when any platform event occurs, then you want to use process, or there is something like if process is calling uh, another process is calling different process, then it's actually going to call it. So please note, this second option is very new. It just started in Salesforce before a few days. The platform event, it's nothing but some activities we can perform on in the platform on specific events happening in Salesforce. And also before that, please note that whenever you see like any kind of process calling another process, so this also something related to actually new feature. This was also not present in Salesforce previously. Okay, so platform event is something by which you can send a notification when something happens in Salesforce to external platform, a very new feature in Salesforce. And now let me do one thing. Our expectation is to use this record changes. Whenever the record change and whenever we get the scores and all, then we can decide some activity. So click on save. Now another advantage actually of this process builder is we can get a graphical representation, which is not possible at all. So let me show you that graphical representation and see here. Okay, so this is the special thing in process builder. You will get the idea how the process is happening, which is not possible at all in the workflow rule. You don't know even what's happening. Just you add the evaluation criteria, condition, action, done. But what's happening, how it's happening, you don't know. Here we get this flowchart kind of scenario, so we can get some more knowledge. Click on add object and type there object name. Let's say for example student, because we are working on student object, so mention the student. And you want to work on the record is created or edited, let's say created, and click on save. Next you have to add the criteria, so click on criteria. What is your condition? Now we have multiple conditions, three conditions are there. Let's go with the condition one. Let's say failed condition. Okay, student is failed, student got failed. Now you have multiple things, whether you want to decide this by some condition, or you want to write some formula, or you just don't want to do anything, compulsory perform this action. No, we want to write some condition, then only we need to do. What is the condition? Type here in the search field, in the student object. In the student object we have the field, type here marks. See marks percentage, select this and choose it. So if this marks percentage is equal to the number, not equal to by the way, is less than equal to 40. So any marks less than equal to 40, the person is failed. Okay, and if you have multiple conditions, you can use and or, but we don't have multiple conditions, only one condition, so click on save. That's it, your failed condition is done. Now Salesforce asking, so Shekhar, you want to, if this condition is true, then what you want to do? You want to take some action immediately, or you want to take some action laterwards? Not laterwards, let's take it immediately. So click on add action. And see here the very special benefit of process builder, 9 different actions you have. Let me give the overview for your knowledge. Apex, we can call an Apex class. Create record, we can create a new record. Email alert, same thing like workflow rule. Flows, we can call a visual workflow. Post to chatter, we can post to message chatter. We are going to see that today. Processes, we can call another process. Quick actions, we can call some kind of actions to create a file, log a case, or create a lead. Such kind of shortcuts are there which you can create. You can automatically submit the record for approval process. Whereas in admin syllabus, we saw that how we have to submit the approval process manually by pressing the button and update the record. This is the same thing you saw in the workflow rules. So for us right now, we need to take one action. We need to send one. We need to send one. Let's say we need to send one. Let's say SMS to the parent. If you remember here, let me just did I mention here? No. So scenario is something like this. So less than equal to 40. Then do one thing. SMS to parent. Anything from 40 to 75. then mail to teacher, and 75 plus something like that, then chatter. Okay, so this is the scenario. Now I will tell you how we did this SMS to parent in that project. See, first of all, what we did is we took the service from the SMS provider. We purchased the credits, we purchased the SMS service, and we did this by integration. We use this integration. Even I'm going to explain you when we are going to see the integration thing. So by taking the uh, all needed permission from the customer, I uh, took a small piece of code so that you can get the idea how it works, so that you can get the information like how this works. But anyways, that needs a paid service. You need to pay money to the SMS provider, otherwise the service will not be available. So that customer paid the payment, he purchased SMS credit, and that activity we did. How we did? So first of all, what we did, we updated one field. uh, we updated field on this student object. So what we did, we created one more field called as SMS to parent. Let me just show you that. And there we just added the SMS text. So what we did, let me just show you that. See, something like this, something like this. So we added something like text like this, okay, in the SMS to parent. That we did by process builder. If the student is failed, add the text. And we return a trigger on the student object, and the trigger, and you know very well how to write the trigger. So we wrote this trigger before insert, and then if in the trigger, and the trigger we call the apex class. In the apex class we check if the text SMS to parent equal to your pupil failed, etc., etc., then call a function which is having the code for sending SMS. Okay, and that's it. Then do the integration and send SMS. So this was the scenario where we used, and I want to take that scenario here. So we are going to update the field SMS to parent. So let's do one thing. Action type, update the field. Mm, mm. Yeah, some network issue. So I'm facing this problem from morning. Fine, let's proceed and let me repeat. So here then we are going to use this field called as SMS to parent, and what we did there, that whenever the person is failed, then we added this text by process builder. This text or this object student, we use one trigger. As soon as a record is inserted, we went to the apex class by trigger. The same thing we saw in the pen example. And if SMS to parent has some text like this, then use this text and call the code or integration code of SMS, in which we got lots of information, endpoint, user ID, password, everything from that SMS service provider when we made the payment to them. And that integration code we called, and then SMS went to the parent that your student, sorry, your child failed, come to college quickly and visit us. Okay, so that activity, that field update activity which we used in that project, I'm going to take here. Just I'm going to update the field and click on the action called as update records and click on save. So click on save, update records and save. Okay, so it's asking the action name. Let's say SMS to parents, anything. Okay, and which record you want to update. Click on this. So there are two options. First, click on this. There are two options. First, you want to update the record on student object, or you want to update the record on some other object which are related to student object by master detail relationship or by lookup relationship. No, I want to update the student record only. So select the first option and click on choose. I want to update student record only. So what field is student record? Now here you can search the field also. What field is student? So this one, SMS to parent. Okay. And what text you want to give? Let's say please visit to college. Your kid failed. Something like this. And something like this. Okay. Now this SMS will be sent to parent. Whatever number we are having in our database registered for this child's parent. Okay, which we do at the time of admission. Click on save. Okay, this is for failed situation. But suppose the student is not failed and he got a mark from between 40 to 70. So then we have to go for another criteria. So add another criteria which is here. Click on add criteria and right here the field. So what is your criteria? The criteria is the mark should be more than 40. So marks greater than should be number 40, and also add one more row and also right here marks less than number 75. So anything between 40 to 70, that is 41, 42 up to 74, it's the average performance. So in this case what we need to do, see here, mail to teacher. Okay, so let's do one thing, select and click on save. Sending email is something which you already saw in the admin syllabus. So criteria name, let's say for example mail to, or let's say average criteria, for example average criteria. We got average score, something like this. Average criteria. Save. Okay. Now what action you would like to take? Email. So click on action. And here you select email alerts. Now this is not new for you. This is already seen in admin syllabus. So email alert, same thing like workflow email alert. So let me search here if I have that email. Let's say email to teacher, something like that. Yeah, I have that. Okay. So let me go for this. It's already created. It's a email alert activity which we have done already in the workflow. Okay. So if you remember workflow topic, we have to create an email template and all this stuff, right? So same thing we have done here. Okay. So otherwise you can create here a new one and again start the process like this, which you already saw in the admin. So not to waste your time on teaching the same thing again, the email alerts, right? And what in email alerts you will do? You will do something like this. I'll rewrite the description, unique name, email template. This is already seen in the admin syllabus. So let's not spend the time on the same thing again. So I selected any random email alert. Click on save. Okay. Now this is second criteria. But what if student is more than 75? Then go for one more criteria. Click add criteria. Like this you can add many criteria, not a problem. And what is the condition? My condition is students marks percentage should be greater than number 74. Okay, or I would say greater than equal to 75. So 75, 76, 78 like this. Okay, and also I want that the marks should be less than equal to 100, of course. Okay, so between 75 to 100. Then what I want to do, click on save. Okay, right here the criteria name, let's say a distinction criteria. Okay, and save. Now what action you would like to take? A chatter post. Click on add action and select here post to chatter. Now chatter post is nothing but something related to the chatter facility, where in the Salesforce, if you click on the chatter tab, if you click on the chatter tab, please see here, you can create some kind of groups. I will be sending you one video to just have a idea about this chatter, so watch that also. So click on groups, and here we can create various groups and perform in this group. So please note that here you can just click on new group and you can create a group. So there is a teachers group actually. There, let's say we have many teachers who are regularly chatting with each other for various things, and here in this group we want to post a message. So select here action name, anything, let's say chatter post, any name you can give, there is no rule. And post to what you want to post, for a single user or a group. I want to do a group, select group. Which group? Find a group. So type here teacher and teachers group. What message? Congrats. Now let me go to the student record. Now see here, this teacher and student object, they are connected with relationship with each other. Okay, so here what we can do, we can access the teacher record by this field, the lookup relationship field. Now as there is a connection between teacher and student record, I will fetch the name of the teacher by this way. See what I can do, I will use a merge field here. Okay, merge field, what is that? You already know, already we learned this in the workflow rule topic. Okay, so student, and then what I will do, I will type teacher here. I want a field from teacher. So wherever you see teacher and arrow, go for this. So this way now we can fetch the data from the teacher object. And see here, all the fields are from teacher object. See, teacher, let's say subject, teacher name, right? So this way we can fetch the data from another object's record as well. Click on this and choose. So now what's happening, from the teacher's object I am fetching the name of the teacher. So congrats teacher name, your student. Now also I can make it a merge here, for example, and this is applicable for master, lookup, anything, that is not an issue. So your student, let me take the name of the student. So student, and name of the student is student name. Your student got distinction, and at the end let's say principal. Okay, save it. That's it, a dynamic chatter post, and that's it, your entire process is complete. Okay, and please note now here, click on activate, click on confirm, and that's it. Now this will start working. Okay, let's see. So let me create a new record for a student. Click on new, student name, anything, maybe Robert. Email of teacher, not needed, leave it. Percentage, let's say he has failed, let's say 35, he failed. Okay, and now in this case what should happen, then SMS should be sent to parent. In short, here we should get some SMS. So select any teacher, doesn't matter here because we are focusing now on the field of SMS. So select any teacher, anything you can select, and click on save. See what happened here. See this one. So the field for SMS to parent populated. Now this will call a trigger, this will call Apex class, this will call integration code or web service code, and that's it. Okay, so this is how actually we implemented that Canada customers requirement of sending SMS. By default, this feature is not present. By default, this feature is not present in Salesforce, and please note we did this kind of activity by using this integration. Okay. Now let me go for next scenario. Let me go for next scenario and see how we can achieve this. Just let me show you here. Just 1 minute. Let's go with the second scenario. Okay, so second scenario is something like this. Go to students. Now we'll do one thing. We will go for such a student who will be getting the average performance. So now I'm going to select here with average performance. It's going to be the mail to teacher, right? So I'm going to say write in any email of teacher which you use in that email alert, same like workflow rule. Student name, let's say for example Andy, and email of teacher. Let's say I'm going to add my email address because I want to show you that it's working. Marks percentage, let's say 50 percentage average performance, and whatever teacher, or we don't need that field as of now. We need the next scenario, and click on save. So now one email should be sent to teacher. So let me stop the screen and let me go to the inbox and let me just show you here that what is the email or what we got here. Just give 1 minute. Let me check here. Yeah, I got the email. So click on I got the email. Okay, so something like this. So we use this kind of email, let's say, and we gave a document to the teacher in that project to on attachment, and we said that write the reason why student failed and sorry, why student did not perform well, and this was the document which teacher need to write, print out, and go to the principal office and explain why the performance is not good, etc., etc. So the same scenario I wanted to explain you, and that is the reason in that email alert we have attached one document. Again, this is also we have seen in the workflow rule, same we have seen before. Okay, next, and let's go for the next scenario, that is something about the distinction. So click on student and let's create a new student with a distinction marks. So maybe Naresh, percentage, let's say 90% he got, and now see what's going to happen. And teacher, we want to connect a teacher because based on that only the chatter post will be finding the teacher's name. So maybe Rupesh. Okay, and save. That's it. Now the chatter post will be done. How? Do one thing. Go to the option called as chatter and go to the groups. Go to the groups. Go to the groups and then teachers group, and just look at this. Okay, so this post is also done. So this way we can do perform various 9 actions by process builder, and this is something what the specialty of process builder is. Okay, so everyone is clear with the topic process builder? Any question? Everyone is clear? Okay, great. Almost everyone is saying it's good. Anyone is pending? Quickly reply. so that we can move to the next topic. Yes, in future we are going to use now maximum of process builder only. Okay, fine. So now can we try? Yeah, you can always try process builder. In fact, whenever it's possible, whenever it's possible, do one thing that whenever it's possible for you, just try to do one thing. Try to always use the process builder in your job, because now it will be easy for you to go for the workflow role. But in future, whenever you go for any kind of such activity of complex scenarios and all, then it will be very easy for you to add one by one all the conditions into that, and your process will be very easy. So focus on using process builder in your project. Okay, so let me proceed ahead and let me go for the next level. Process builder is a part of lightning. It's actually built on lightning. So process builder is built on lightning, but they made available on classic also. I hope you got the answer. Okay, so like whatever you said is almost correct, but it's built on lightning. It's available in classic also, in and lightning also. Okay, fine. So let's move to the next level. Now let me open that agenda that we are planning. So this is done. So process builder done. Now let's go for this lightning, sorry, integration essential. Okay, let's proceed with this interesting topic, and lots of things you are going to see here, which are useful for your interviews. And the reason I included this is because uh, maximum interviews you are going to face, they will be having no they will be having no hands-on, and they will be not asking you any kind of things and any kind of code. So previously, I was not I used not to take this topic in even the bonus session, because I used to take in only uh, in the separate batch of integration. But from last 4 to 5 batches, I started taking this as a part of bonus also. The reason is these people are not asking any code in the interview, so then why to worry? Like they will just ask you some conceptual questions on integration. You answer that and you get an entry. That's it in the company. And that is the reason I thought it will be also giving benefits to my students. So if they have this kind of knowledge, instead of saying, no, I don't know anything about integration. So that is the reason I started from last 5 6 batches. So let's proceed and start learning about this integration essentials. The integration essentials, the word shows you very clearly that these are the topics which are essential for you to have a journey ahead in integration. And let me tell you something about this. First of all, please note that why we need integration. So in 70 in 70%, so the technical issue making the problem. Fine. So Now it's all fine. Let's proceed. So the first thing, some technical issue, but now it's fine. Let's proceed. So the first thing, that why we need integration. Pay attention. Let me just start this on a separate page, and so let's proceed. So first thing, why we need integration in Salesforce. Please note there are so many projects which are standalone. That is Salesforce platform our customers are using, and they are very much okay with that. They know they don't need anything else. That's it. Just work on Salesforce. But many times what happen, there are some specific typical cases where your company must use the integration activities, where if the company is having a legacy system, for example, let's say SAP, they used to use SAP in the past and now they are moving to Salesforce, and they have some regular data exchange between SAP to Salesforce. They want to continue using SAP, they want to continue using Salesforce. In that case, we can use integration. Another typical uh, um, example, where you have where you want some add-on facility which is not available in Salesforce. For example, let's say there is a very popular example of DocuSign. It's a digital signature application. Now it's not available in Salesforce. No problem. Do Salesforce DocuSign integration. There is a very famous platform of, let's say, Google Drive. Now it can store lots of data. Salesforce is not having that. Okay, connect with Google Drive and Salesforce. So this way, the two reasons why actually this industry is using integration, one is because of the legacy system issue. They want to keep sync of the data, and second, to get some enhancement which is not available in Salesforce, then take it from other platform. And in these cases, we need integration. So what kind of integrations we can do? So it's a very popular interview question, that what is the most popular type of integration. So let me take this. In short, this session is going to have lots of such interview questions which my students faced in last 2 3 4 months. Okay, so let's talk about these types of integration that we have. So the types of integrations, there are only two. One is REST integration and second is SOAP integration. That's it. Okay, so another popular interview question. So it's interview question. Almost in all interviews where they need integration guy, they will ask this. Another interview question. Uh, Difference between SOAP and REST. Okay. And please note, uh, get the sessions which I'm going to discuss, get this all things very carefully, because you can very easily crack many interviews with this knowledge which you are going to have. Okay, so have full concentration and understand. We are going to go into the deeper of integration now. Difference between SOAP and REST. Please note, you need to understand like some bullet points for this. So let me tell you something about. Just remember 3 4 and that's it. So first of all, say that SOAP is actually used for heavy data exchange. Okay, here it's used for lightweight data. Okay, just wait it. Okay, uh, good for system to system connection. Here it is good for system to mobile or mobile to mobile. In fact, mobile to mobile is something very rare, so leave it and focus on this. Good for system connection. So whenever you see any kind of whenever you see any kind of mobile thing is coming, let me just delete that. So uh, let me just wait continue 1 minute. Yeah, thank you for the hold. Okay, so now this is good for system to system connection and good for system to mobile connection. So don't forget to tell them in the interview whenever we are going to use some kind of mobile application. For example, let's take an example of your mobile application. um, let's say for example you are using one mobile app, and let's say that mobile app actually is going to give you multiple facilities, let's say to send an email and to send an SMS and to do some kind of payment transactions and all. Now when you are using any app, let's take for example let's say any railway ticket booking. Okay, now from that railway ticket booking, anyways railway is not having its own payment structure. It will give you option whether you want to go for Visa or HDFC Bank or let's say ICICI Bank. So then this will connect to the banking server, and this mobile application will be connect to the banking server, and then it will give you the result of that. Let's say the amount is present, it will say money is insufficient, amount is not present, bank server refused to connect, etc, etc. So these all the things happen by rest, because we have the lightweight data. We don't have any huge information, right? We just need to see amount present or not, yes or no, approved or not, yes or no, very small data. So in industry, in current market, what wherever you see the use of mobile things and all, everywhere please note you have the rest only. Okay, next. And apart from that, please note SOAP is nothing but a kind of architecture. And here whenever we are going to see such kind of thing, let me just show you one more thing. This kind of, I want you guys to remember 3 4 points compulsory, so that in interview that headache will be not there, that he will be doubting you that whether you know the integration or not. So these are some important things we can uh, it can help us to easily cover this. So SOAP is actually you can also say that SOAP is actually is a protocol. Protocol means the mode of communicating between two platforms. Okay, it's a protocol. And rest is nothing but the uh, architecture. Okay, it's architecture of communicating. So also tell like this. If they ask you the full form, then also remember this. So the full form of SOAP is the full form is simple object access protocol. So the word itself says it's protocol. and REST. This also shows you that what exactly it's going to have architecture. Representational state transfer. From this they have taken representational state transfer. It's not, they are not going to ask you any long form or full form mostly, but still keep in your mind because you have to be ready with everything. Next, okay, so this is done, and one more thing I will take so that you can at least 3 to 4 points, which is very important, which you can easily remember. SOAP uses XML. So for communicating between two platforms, SOAP uses XML. That I already told you before. I think 10-15 minutes, right? Uh, to you. No, I told it this is a lightning batch. Yeah, not you. So please note, when we communicate between two platform one, then platform two, we should have a language, a universal language which both this platform can understand. So here in SOAP we use XML language, extensible markup language, that we use in SOAP. Whereas in REST we use XML also and JSON also. So there was a topic of JSON in the lightning batch before your session. So I was just telling them about this. So for connecting, there is one more language called as JSON. So please note, SOAP uses only XML. That is, XML is more preferred, and here uses JSON, JavaScript object notation, also XML possible. Now please note, this was the interview question just before 2-3 days. I was helping one of my students for the interview. So the customer, Cognizant, was asking that can we use XML with SOAP? Answer is yes. What about REST? So the answer was XML also possible, but we prefer using JSON. Okay. So remember this, and anything more you can add, because apart from that, I think it's okay. These are sufficient. Fine. So you can easily manage with this, and yeah, that's fine. And yeah, and one more thing. Please note, SOAP needs high bandwidth for communication, and needs here low bandwidth. Okay, fine. Now let me proceed ahead and see any questions are there. So there is a question, REST and REST API both are same? Yes, both are same. Okay, and XML is possible in REST. Then so please note, SOAP is not. So this question, there is a question about, is like when REST is using XML, then it's not going to be heavyweight. So please note, using XML or not using XML is not going to define whether it's heavy or whether it's lightweight. I hope you got the answer. Okay, so the question is wrong actually, because using just XML is not going to define whether it's heavy or light. Actually, the format, the structure, whether it's representational architecture we are having, which is going to have a very lightweight communication platform, which anyways we are going to discuss in shortly, or you are going to work on the SOAP and you are going to work on the WSDL file and working on the conversion of the WSDL file and lots of stuffs, and in the binding activities and all, that will define whether it's heavy or not. So I hope you got the answer. Fine. So this is something about one very regular interview question that you got. Let's move to the next thing. Now I'm going to tell you something about the API, in which I'm going to tell you the very famous thing, that is partner API. In short, this, let me tell you the interview question which they ask. Whenever actually you are going to do any kind of integration, and you have to do integration with any other platform, then you have two options here. So either you can use some kind of WSDL file, okay, so whether it will be something related to the enterprise WSDL or partner WSDL, etc., etc. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me just cut this here and paste below soap, because it is something related to soap. And let me just cut this here, which is something suitable for this. So let me just bring it below soap. Okay, and here under type, rest. Okay, and below soap, these things, and below rest. Okay, and and fine. So pay attention. So now we understood something about this. Let's go for the next thing and try to understand something about soap. Now what we do here in soap. So pay attention, as it is going to be something new for you. So have full concentration how it works. Whenever you have, let's say for example, Salesforce, and you have the SAP platform. Now suppose SAP, you want to connect with SAP, and now we are going to use here SOAP. Okay, so I'm going to give you the overview how it's going to work. SAP people will generate one file which is called as WSDL file, Web Service Description Language. This file actually will contain all the information from SAP, what all functions are there, what all features are there, what parameters need to be used to function, everything. Okay, so that WSDL file they will give you. This WSDL file you need to use or consume into the Salesforce. Anyways, these all things, all these practical activities and all, as I already told, it's a part of the lightning, it's part of the integration syllabus. It's a separate thing, not part of the bonus things. But I'm telling you all those things which you can easily explain and give the answers in the interview. Okay, so this so try to understand this thing, because it's not uh, practically available in our scope. So again saying to pay the attention so that you can easily understand how it's happening. One file they will be giving us, that is called as WSDL file. This file will contain every information about the functions, parameters and everything about SAP. You need to take this file into the Salesforce, and from that automatically a class will be generated in Salesforce. Okay, so this is called as creating the Apex class from WSDL. And here let me show you by going to Salesforce environment. If I go to any Apex class, see, there is one option called as generate from WSDL. Okay, so your partner will give you a WSDL file. SAP people, you can see the button, third button. You click on generate from WSDL, and then you need to give a file from your laptop. So they will send you by email, or maybe by CD, or maybe by drive sharing, whatever, and download that file on your laptop, a WSDL file, and that file you give to this option. Automatically it will create one Apex class. And this Apex class will give you the information, idea that how actually you can connect to the another platform, that is SAP. Then it's very simple. The way you learn in the programming, create the object, create all the functionality, pass the parameter, get the return value, everything will be mentioned there, and just get connected with the next platform and fetch whatever you want to fetch from the same. Again, similar to that, if suppose in Salesforce, let's say SAP is trying to get data from Salesforce. Okay, so let me mention here that send data from Salesforce. There is one scenario and another scenario which I just discussed, get data to Salesforce. So just to realize how to get the data to Salesforce, get the WSDL file for them and just generate the particular code from here, and that's it. Okay, get the code of Apex class, and after that everything is straightforward. Just create the instance or object or call the function. We already spent lots of sessions in that in the development syllabus. Next, talking about the second scenario, that is send the data from Salesforce. Let's say SAP guy is saying I want some data from Salesforce. Okay, very simple. Go to this option here in the build and in the API. Go to this option, and here you need to actually generate either enterprise WSDL or partner WSDL, and give this to your partner and tell them whatever options you have on SAP. From that, get the all needed information of Apex. In short, you don't need to tell anything. They are wise enough to use SAP. Just give them a WSDL file and say, this is the WSDL file, will tell you every information about the Salesforce, and that's it. So they will be able to get all the functions, classes in your Salesforce environment. Okay, next. So this way we make communication between Salesforce to SAP, SAP to Salesforce. Now if till this point everything is clear, then let me know. I will go for the line number 13 and 14. Everyone is clear how to use WSDL or how to give them WSDL? It's just click and select. Nothing to write, nothing to code. Just first of all load and generate the file, and that's it. Okay, then okay, fine, almost everyone is saying clear. So let me do one thing. Now let me go to one. Now there is a question, only one Apex class we can give. It's not about one Apex class, it's the structure of your Salesforce environment. Okay, it will have all the information of structure. Okay, fine. There is a question, if there is a kind of limit on the WSDL side. Yeah, there is a limit, and the limit is you're having the limitation of 1 MB, and that is too much limit. And if it is exceeding, then contact your customer and say that give a specific size or file which is less than 1 MB, because anyways this is not our area, we cannot reduce the file. So speak with your customer or partner and ask them to provide the file less than this, which is something happens very rarely. Fine. So now let's talk about this two types of things you can do. Now this is sending data from Salesforce. Pay attention. That is reason I'm bringing them below this. Okay. So see, this is the mechanism of sending data from Salesforce. So there are two ways, and this is a very popular interview question. Okay. Next. Next, now please note, once it is done, okay, now see, let me just tell you one very popular interview question about partner and enterprise API, and this is a interview question which they ask, what is difference between partner and enterprise WSDL? Okay, so whenever you give any kind of WSDL file to your customer, then when to use what, or what is the difference between them? Pay attention, it's very important. First of all, it's about binding. Okay, it's about binding, like how you're going to bind them together, and how you're going to perform them. It's same like the binding which we discussed or like which we do whenever we are having any kind of contract or agreement with any kind of partner companies and all. Okay, so let me tell you enterprise, and remember this is a very popular interview question versus partner digital. So here enterprise digital actually is a strongly typed digital. What is the meaning of that? Let me tell you. So let me write here first of all. This is strongly typed. This is loosely typed digital. Okay. So here the okay, I think the screen is stuck. See now. Okay, this is strongly typed and this is loosely typed digital. Next, another important thing you need to understand that whenever actually when it's strongly typed, okay, so what happens is suppose if you give a file to let's say SAP people, you said, see this is the visual file of Salesforce and you start using this. Okay, and now in this case, let's say the SAP people started using the Visdal and they are using the taking the benefit of the Visdal files and all. Okay, now in this case, if suppose the enterprise Visdal is for those customers who wants to build an integration with the Salesforce and they want to do the integration with Salesforce only with a strong type, which means that it contains object and field with specific data type such as string and integer, etc. Okay, and whenever any kind of changes are made in the custom objects or field, then we need to use a different version of API. Okay, so let me tell you, or let me write it here. This is useful for those cases where partner, or let's say another another team, this is useful for those cases where another platform is, remember these all things, okay, these are very important, another platform is going to connect with only our Salesforce org. Okay, whereas uh, wait a minute, let me just change the sequence and then it will be easy for you. First of all, enterprise, and this is for also enterprise, this is for partner. Okay, so enterprise is strongly typed where your customer is only interested to get connected with only your Salesforce org. Sometimes they will be connecting to multiple Salesforce orgs. For example, there is a company, let's say for example IBM, and IBM is using for example this IBM's XYZ platform. It's working with your company, let's say Microsoft. It's also working with for example Cognizant. It's also working with TCS, and it's trying to connect the platform like this way. This is the IBM's platform, any platform, let's say for example IBM is working on Lotus, for example Lotus platform, and it's connecting to the Salesforce platform of Infosys, also connecting Salesforce platform of Microsoft, also connected to Salesforce platform of let's say TCS. Then in this case this example is not suitable. Then in this case you should be going for partner digital. Okay, so let me mention this also here. This is useful for those cases where another platform is going to connect with only our org, that is enterprise. When another platform is planning to connect multiple orgs, then use partner wisdom. Okay, so ask your customer what you are going to do, and then go to the Salesforce environment and download this file or this file. Okay, so let me show you by this downloading this file. So let's say I'm going to click on this, for example, partners will download this. So see, let me just show you. See here, for example, this enterprise visual. You can see now your example. So here you can generate enterprise visual, and like this is something about the packages and all, what's there and all. In this case, in your case, it will not be having all the options. For example, CPQ. This is something in my environment. It will not be in your environment, etc., etc. So whatever package versions you want to give, just this will not be in your environment. Okay. So this is something I added in my environment, and then generate the visual file. Generate the visual file, and then you will be getting some kind of results like this. So by the way, it's making some error. This is something, some limitations of the free edition. By the way, sometimes it give error, and if it's giving error, you cannot even contact your support team, so they will not be giving kind of support in that. But anyways, so you just need to generate the visual file from that, and it will give you one visual file, and this visual file you need to give to your another platform, that is SAP and whatever is there. Okay, so this is the step for this, and now let me go for the notes. So in real-time projects, you just need to click on this, and it will download or generate the visual file in XML formats and all, and you just need to pass on to the customer. I'll show you an example of this visual file. Just give 1 minute. Because of the free edition, it's making some limitations to us. So let me just show you an example. So let me take a screenshot of one of my previous work, removing the all information about the customers and all, and let me show you. So see, this is something. So this kind of format we get here. So something like this. Okay, so this kind of contents, this kind of data will be there, and this way you can, your partner will be consuming this kind of file, and your partner will be getting the all necessary information. So this is the format of digital file. It's in a XML format as we discussed, and your partner will get all the information what is present in your environment of Salesforce and so on. Okay, so when you download, when you click on that, then you will get this kind of file. Just mail it to your partner. Okay, fine. Now let me go for the notes. No, even Salesforce will not support you. If you are a free edition person, then Salesforce will not mostly so resolve your issue also. Okay, that needs the like subscription or some kind of paid service to be present, and you should be sending email to them from your registered email address and all. So then they can reply you. Okay, fine. So this is the explanation about this. And next, one more thing about this enterprise and partner. Understand this. So whenever actually we are going to work on this scenario, so enterprise digital is like, for example, any kind of changes modified on enterprise like any organization, Then please note here, for that reason you have to again send an email to your partner company. So let me tell you, in this case, if we make any changes in org, for example, new fields and etc. you created. Let's say in your org you created new field, or the function name is changed or anything. Okay, then your partner won't realize about this change. They will not get any idea about this change. Okay, then hence generate again a new WSDL file and send to partner. Okay, this is something. This is the reason why we say it's as a strongly typed WSDL. Means, for example, let's say my customer is mostly focusing on, let's say for example, account object. In the account object, what I did, I created one more field called as, for example, the percentage discount. Now your partner will not understand this kind of change happen in Salesforce. You have to again generate the WSDL file and send it to your partner. Whereas in case of this partner WSDL, we don't need to worry about this. Like for example, any kind of changes happening, or let's say any kind of changes you are doing, your partner will be getting the all information without generating any kind of additional code here. Okay, so let me tell you something about this. So like any kind of changes or activities are happening here, then we type here in the partner WSDL, as it's loosely typed. So in that the work or changes that we have done, done, or any kind of modifications we have made, we don't need to inform the partner again and again. Only one time it's sufficient to send the partner WSDL file to them, and that's it. Okay, so let me mention here. So in this case, if any when make any changes in org, example field changes, then your partner don't need any new file again and again. Okay, so this is also an important thing. Next, another important thing you need to remember here is, whenever actually in this, whenever you go for enterprise WSDL, then customer which use enterprise WSDL actually will get the advantage in one more way. It contains the metadata about all standard and custom objects, everything in detailed format, because it's strongly typed. Whereas in partner WSDL, it will not contain all the metadata or information about that objects and field, but just takes an array of key value pairs. Okay, so let me mention that also. So let me write this also. This contains information. Metadata means some information about the data that is stored. Okay, data about data is called as metadata. This contains information about all standard objects, custom objects, fields, etc. But here in this, we don't have that in-depth info like enterprise WSDL. Information will be in key value pair format, and please note here I would say information or metadata. So metadata is going to give you some detailed information about your structure, what all classes, what all functions in a detailed manner. But in partner WSDL, you cannot expect that all the things. It will be having some like key value pair format details or information only. Okay, and yeah, that's it. These are sufficient for you. I think you can easily remember all these things. And how many differences we have seen? 1 2 3 4. Yeah, that is sufficient interview. Okay, next. So now we understood that if you want to do SOAP integration, then how APIs will help. In that you understood how to get the data, generate the Apex class from WSDL, and how to send the data. Now let's talk about the REST. Now here the things are bit easy, not so complex. WSDL file and this WSDL and that WSDL. We don't have that much kind of complexity here. We just have endpoint, and with an endpoint we can perform this activity. Okay. Now please note here. Here what we need to do in this case, now understand something about REST. Okay, now pay attention. Whenever we are going to actually work on the REST integration, I'm going to show you one sample. If you remember that I told you that one of the previous implementation activity which I have done, I'm going to show an example from that, one of the SMS vendor activity. So just let me do one thing. Let me remove the all ID, password and everything from that as per the customer's information what he gave. Just give 1 second. I'm going to show you an example of that, how REST integration is done. So just I'm making the changes in that code. So and yeah, so here we go. So see what we did is just 1 minute. I'm just making some modifications. So we are in the last 10-15 minutes of the session now, so it will be closed. Just integration. So all those people from USA, please note it's late not for you, understand. So after 10-15 minutes we'll complete this. So this is the core and this is the core, and then I added the endpoint, and let me remove the URL of customer, and let me write here for example any and then I'm going to add here the username and password information. So let me remove that also, username and password, application ID, everything I'm going to remove. So remove that and replace this. Let's username and password something, and application ID something, say 123. Fine. So this is set endpoint done. Then after this we went for creation of the we went for creation, like passing the endpoint is done, and then we went for calling the result. So let me do that also. So set endpoint and pass the result. Endpoint set and select. No, screen is stopped. Screen is stopped. Wait a minute. I'm just going to make change in that code. So there is nothing on the screen right now. I'm just stopping the screen. It's all my customers' data, so I'm just going to remove that first of all. And once it is done, then add the core results and response. response result is there, and yeah, that's it, resulted. Okay, now let me show you how this REST integration worked and how simple REST integration is in this case. So I will now share the screen and see here how actually that worked, and screen sharing start. See, this is the REST integration code we use for SMS sending. How straightforward it is and how simple it is. So it doesn't need any kind of WSDL file and all these things. You don't need to worry about all these things. Very simple format. Create the HTTP request, HTTP request, the response code and all these things, and then create the HTTP instance. Anyways, we will not have any kind of discussion on this in detail because as I already told that it's not part of our agenda, it's part of the different syllabus. So I'm just giving you overviews so you can just survive in the interview. You create the instance like this, instance of request response, okay, and then you just need to pass the URL which customer will be giving you. You don't need to worry about this. Any kind of website, I just removed customers information and mentioned here anything.com. Then the user ID we passed, password we passed, and the application code we passed. That's it. With this we sent the, and here also apart from that we also passed one more thing, the mobile number we passed, okay, so that also we passed in the URL. And also apart from that we also passed one more thing, SMS text, and something ABC, okay, that's it. Once this URL is called, then the server will receive username, password and SMS text, and then it will validate our username and password is correct or not. Otherwise what will happen, anyone can start using this SMS service, right? If it is correct, then they will send SMS to this number with whatever text we are providing. That's it. So this way we created this SMS code functionality for the customer, and we have performed this REST integration. So REST integration is comparatively very much easy, and please note this code we have written in Apex class, okay. So REST integration code in Apex class, and please note, first of all, in the REST scenario, please note any TML happened, then we called trigger. From the trigger we called Apex class, which is below, and then that's it, okay. So on insert insert update we can create this trigger, and this is the result we got. So you can see now REST integration is completely very much easy. If they are going to ask you in the interview how you are going to do REST integration, tell I'm going to create the HTTP request instance, HTTP response, HTTP instance, and we are going to call the endpoint by passing all the necessary parameters of credentials, and that's it, okay. And now let me tell you one more interview question, that how you will do authentication in SOAP or REST. So tell in SOAP we can pass username and password to the uh, class function we will get in partners wisdom, whereas here in REST we can pass username and password to partners URL which they are going to give. That is the link that they have given. So we can pass it and we can achieve this. Okay, so this is something about this activity. Let me see what is pending now. So this is done, REST endpoint done, passing credentials. Okay, so it's done. Now let me tell you about two small things. That is nothing but the web service in Salesforce and call out scenario, like some kind of example, like how we can do the call out and all, or what kind of things we do. Okay, so we need some kind of 5 minutes more. Please note this web service when you use, so web service or writing web service in Apex. There is also one interview question that. So writing web service in Apex. Please note that here I'm going to tell you a couple of important interview points by giving you an example, okay, which is the intention of this topic. So please note that whenever actually you are going to write a web service in Salesforce, that is, you are going to write such a functionality which actually is going to be used by another platform. Then in this case, there are 2 to 3 interview questions which they can ask you. So whenever you are actually going to call any kind of web service in Salesforce, please note your web service should have a functionality or a function which is having a name at the top called as the web method. Okay, so let me give an example here so you can understand that how actually you should be writing the web service in Salesforce. Just give me a second. Let me just copy code. Okay, so you can write such a function in Salesforce which will be called by another company by using whether REST or SOAP. Okay, so my web service class, let me just make some changes here from the customer's code, and here let's say my function, I'm just changing the name. Okay, and let's say integer, and let's say we are getting and we are doing, let's say, integer. I'm trying to make as simple as I can to you so they can easily understand how it works. And see, see how actually we need to use a web service. Okay, so suppose and whether this is useful for WSDL. Okay, so write this code, then write above class, go to setup, then Apex class, and then generate WSDL, and that's it. Mail to client. That's it. Okay, so this way you can give some functionality or visual functionality to your customer. Either if you want to give the entire WSDL of entire company, then you know very well you can go for this. It will contain everything about your company, partner, enterprise APIs and all. But you want to give only one functionality, then go for this. And web service you can write and pass just one functionality to customer. In this, 2 things are important. See, this is not difficult for you. Understanding this is not difficult. But 2 things you need to remember. They will ask you in the interview how you will understand that any function is web service or not. Point number 1, it will have a keyword web service written before this. Point number 2, it is going to have a global access specifier, because global means something outside of Salesforce we can call. Okay, so there are 2 regular interview questions about global and web service. That is the reason I took this example. Otherwise, there was no need to take this example. So please note here, this web service is a keyword that we need to remember. Then just generate WSDL, and that's it. So if you go to Salesforce, let me show you. Go to Salesforce and Apex class. Go to Apex class, and then select any class. Let's say, for example, something like this. Any class which will be having this, and then once this class is created, then you can have a button of generating the WSDL, and that's it. Okay, so this way you can perform the activity, but that should be having the special web method should be present there. Okay, so remember this. Any question till this point? So we can move to the last point. Any question till this point? How you can write a web service? Global and web service keyword. Don't forget this. That's it. They'll ask you only two things. And then any other partner can call this function and take the benefit of this. Okay. So I'm creating the web service class here. Because of this only, this button will come. Otherwise, for normal class, it will not come. Okay. So it will not come. And these partners will call this web service function and get the information from Salesforce. Okay, they will get the data from Salesforce if they want to get some information from Salesforce. Okay, and if I click on generate WSDL, so let me just click on the generate WSDL. It's giving some issue with the developer edition. Otherwise, in the real-time project, just work immediately whenever with generate. Press on the generate WSDL. And just do one thing, save page, and yeah, so see here, this is the XML file I got. Okay, so this is the visual file you need to mail to your customer, and they will generate the class from their code and they'll start using. Okay, so see here, all the information is present here, like what you pass and all the information, like what your function is doing, etc, etc. Okay, so this way this code will be used by them. Okay, so this is a web service class that you have created. Just mail the customer and they will start using. Let me see any other question is there in the chat box. Otherwise, we can move ahead. You can see here it is showing all the information. See, this the file contains this function. This function has two elements. Okay, so this XML file will contain everything. And then your partner, see here, this function name is this. It has two variables of type integer, right? So this way it is going to give the all details to the partner company what actually you are giving them, and then they will also create the class from that, and then they will start calling your functionality from SAP, from .NET, from Java. That's it. Okay, so this is about web service, and the last point we are going to have is call out scenario. So please note, there is a word called as call out in Salesforce, and what actually is the meaning of that, I will tell you. So see, whenever we are going to, there is also one interview question with call out and apex and trigger. Okay, so it is again a recent interview question. I'm going to tell you something about that. The call out scenario is something like this. The call out scenario is whenever we make any integration from Salesforce to any other partner platform, say maybe .NET. Okay, then we then while using this process, we need to sometimes use endpoint. That is the endpoint to which we are going to connect. Okay, so for this process, what we need to do, we need to register this endpoint for call out. And why we need to register? We need to tell Salesforce that if any code is connecting, let's say your customer's call out is something, let's say IBM and some kind of page. For example, let's say something like this, HTTP, let's say IBM, let's say call out, let's say refer some kind of page. They're, let's say, giving something like this to you. Okay. Now to tell Salesforce my code is going to connect with this, and you don't worry, it's safe code. You can connect to them. For this process, we need to go for the concept called as the um, um, concept called as the URL whitelisting, where you need to actually tell Salesforce that the code actually which we are going to connect, it's okay, let them connect. And here this is possible by this. We need to use URL whitelisting, like, or let's say by using remote site setting. Okay, so where we need to mention this URL and say to Salesforce, this is a valid URL, and don't stop the connection. Otherwise, Salesforce will do what? Salesforce will see, oh, this Apex class is calling some kind of HTTP, Microsoft, etc., etc. I don't know who is this. I think some kind of doubtful work is happening. Salesforce will stop the integration, because Salesforce will feel you are doing some kind of unauthorized work. So for that reason, you have to go to Salesforce environment. Let me show you this whitelisting how we do. So I'm going to Salesforce environment and see here, remote site is this one. So go to this option, remote access. Okay, and this is also one interview question. They will ask you that if you get an endpoint, can you directly use in your Apex class code and all, or make it call out? Then please note, you cannot do that. By the way, not this. By the way, not this. Another option, remote site settings. Let me just go for, and it's a one-time activity. It's just a one-time activity. Just registered once and lifetime you start using. Okay. So type here remote site setting. This one. This one. Remote site setting. Okay, this option, click on this and create one entry so that your Salesforce will not stop you. So come here, make a new entry, and remote site name, let's say for example IBM URL. Okay, something like this, and remote and URL name, this, paste it here. Okay, and then description, you can just add anything in this and make it active. And you want to go for HTTPS format or HTTP format, then if you select this option, then it will allow only HTTPS. If you remove this option, it will allow HTTP, HTTPS, both, depends on your partner to partner. Click on save, and that's it. Now this entry or any code which is calling this URL will have no problem at all. We can automatically call this. Okay, so these are the important points I want to tell you, and I hope you got sufficient knowledge to go for the interview process and all. And yeah, that's all about the bonus session agenda we have. And the rest of the things I told you, I'm going to send you, or information I'm going to mail you. And that's all with today's session. Anyone is having any question, so that you can close the session? Any question, any doubts?